Welcome to RC Racing. This month we have the big one, the final of the Neo 08 from the Harper Adams Agricultural College. We also have more finals action from the 112th European Championships in Germany, and all the news, views and interviews. And I try and find out where the transmitter for this is. How do you make it go? We're back to Germany now for the third A final from the European 112 Championships. And with your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
There's the hot bodies machine of Mark Reinhardt. Tradition dictates that as he's already champion, he will not take part in this race, leaving the remaining 9 to battle for second. And that means Volker there in second place still has a chance. He's got 2 second places. Here's another man in with a chance. That's Hubert Honeygel and Andy Moore. Now, they're both in the same position. They've got a third. So quite simply, if they win it, they will take second position, because a third and a first is better than 2 seconds. Are you keeping up with me so far? Yes. Now, at the back of the grid, Bernard Bopp and Ananemi and Saki Ananemi really don't have any chance, so they're racing for pride and perhaps their best result of the weekend. So Ronald Volker effectively on pole position. Watch out for Andy Moore coming through. There's a huge conflagration at the back of the grid, but that hasn't affected the second place in the championship contenders as Volker tries to streak away. We haven't seen him under pressure in the first 2 races. He's not been able to get close to Reinhardt. Remember, Reinhardt's car was taken off the grid just before the hooter. So we're left with the battle between Volker, who leads it. In second place, Simo Anonemi. In third, now has Andy Moore got through again? He's done it every time on Hubert Honeygel from the start. So Andy Moore is in third place. He needs 2 more positions if he's to take the championship. He's challenging for second place on Anonemi, and he's pushed Anonemi into problems and mistakes in the first 2 races. So he's got some idea of where the Finn is strong and where he is perhaps a little weaker. He's had a go in that place before, and it's side-by-side contact, and again Andy goes through on the left-hander, sets him up on the hairpin. Little bit of a block pass going on. You can see Seymour spinning the back wheels, not getting the grip. Andy keeping his cool and going into second position. Now, Andy Moore has to chase down Ronald Volker. 2 hot bodies cars, so there's little in it as far as the machinery's concerned. It's going to be down to perhaps some slight differences in the setup and just who wants this second place in the Euro Champs the most. Volker is just up the road a little bit, and I wonder if back markers will play a part as well. Andy Moore settling down to a better pace in this one. Pulling away from Anonemi in third place. That's Simo Anonemi. But as yet, Andy not really eating into that lead of Ronald Volker. There's an element of pacing in this as we look at Alexander Hagberg with that green tail end to the car. He's been chased by Saki Anonemi through the technical section. These guys battling down the field. Just pride involved here, but you know, they've got through to the top 10 in Europe from a field of 102 drivers. So they will take a certain amount of pleasure from at least making the finals. So the CRC of Hackbird in 6th position. Oh, dear me, he's just lost concentration for a moment. What's it? Oh, again, it's those bot dots, and he's barely touched that. Just seems to me as though the indiscretion is not worthy of what happens afterwards. Rather, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Just 2 wheels on the curbs there. And now we see it again. Not used in the UK, those bot dots. Now, here's Volker in the lead. Through. Oh, and he's done it as well. I don't believe it. Just again clips that inside curb, and he ends up on his side. And there's Andy Moore. Andy Moore's gone through into the lead from second place. Well, this is potentially second place in the championships, of course. He's got a third, so he's got 3 points at the moment and an 8th. But if he gets this 1 for winning, that's a total of 4. Volker's best 2 scores will be a second and a second, also 4 points. But on count back, Andy has the better result, and that will decide it. So Andy Moore, after what has been really an off-colour weekend for him, really thrown out when he couldn't use his preferred set of tyres, he could yet have a second place in the European Championships. Now that's the Ananemi brothers battling together. And the blue and white car is Seymour coming round to put a lap on his brother, and his brother dutifully pulls out of the way. Well done, Sake. As Ananemi continues after, again, a rather incident-packed race. He's good value though, isn't he? So we're moving into the closing stages now. And again, those curbs, those bot dots really taking their toll here at Ingolstadt, the home of Audi and Audi Sport. Just Hubert Honeygel choosing to use the new R10 body, although all the competitors have been given one to take away, so we may see them in future events. Now there's Andy Moore. He's into the traffic as well now, and closing down. Oh, and again, great driving by the back markers, letting him go. Andy didn't even have to lift for a moment, doesn't break concentration, doesn't have to go offline, and we've seen how disastrous that can be here at Ingolstadt. And with no Mark Reinhardt in this race, remember, he's already won the championship. The car taken off the grid just before the hooter. So Andy Moore then puts a lap on Andy Griffiths, who actually makes up a position there following the leader through. Well, as I said, not the best of weekends for Andy Moore, the man from Derbyshire, with the hot bodies machine. But I think he's learned something this weekend. He's got his head together, adapted to some new conditions, some new equipment in terms of the tyres. You've got to think that perhaps with a little more time, there might have been more performance from Andy. And let's remind everyone, he did set up and mechanic the car of Mark Reinhardt, who has won this event overall. Andy Moore looking much more controlled and comfortable now in this last of the three finals. There really is just a difference to how the car looks now, and a more confident feel about the car, smoother. There's Ananemi. Just feel that he needs to calm down a little bit. There's clearly a lot of speed with this driver, but involved in just too many incidents. I've seen him rather too much on slow motion, and there he is again, just exactly as we were talking about him, clipping that bot dot, which has been a source of some discussion this weekend. Clearly one or two of the drivers not getting their heads around them and believing they can use the curb area. And you see just how harsh they are. Even Andy Moore here has suffered. And he comes up again to Andy Griffith, who pulls out of the way. And Sake Ananemi is the next man to go another lap back in that, for me, one of the best liveries, the red and grey Corrali, excuse me. And Andy's gone through. Well, another trophy for the Moore mantelpiece, but it will be second in the championships and not first. But he takes the congratulations. He's a man who likes to win. So the race result for race 3 is Andy Moore taking it from Ronald Volker in second, Hubert Honeygel in third, Sake Ananemi in fourth position, ahead of his brother Seymour in fifth, Bernard Bopp in sixth, his best result of the weekend, then Hagberg, Andy Griffiths, Fisher, and of course Mark Reinhardt, who didn't take the start. Remember, it's only the best 2 results of 3 to count, and the podium has Ronald Volker in third position, Andy Moore stealing second there in that final race, and Mark Reinhardt makes it a 1-2-3, completely locking out the podium for hot bodies. 2 race wins, well, you just can't get any better than that.
One of our favourite cars here on RC Racing is the Baja 5B. And to celebrate this iconic 5th scale legend, a new Baja Challenge series is tearing across Europe. We met up with HPI's Frank McKinney for a special Baja Endurance announcement.
Yeah, I really can't wait for this one. We've got hundreds of racers from all across Europe that are going to be qualifying in races in their home countries throughout the summer. And the best racers from those series are going to be going to Catalonia in Spain to race in a 12-hour endurance event. Starting from 12 noon, ending at midnight, and we'll have a big party at the end. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Personally, I really love endurance racing, and off-road endurance racing is possibly the toughest there is. In every endurance race, there's always a few major challenges that each team has to overcome, and the team that's the best prepared and the best able to deal with the problems that they come up with they're going to be the ones who cross the finish line, and hopefully they'll have more laps than the other guys. I've been to a few RC endurance races that HPI has organized, and it's been quite a lot of fun seeing these guys run around the pits, the full panic, and just trying to even just get across the finish line at the very end, and not even really concerned about winning. That's the main thing to get across, is that these guys are coming from the home nations and racing for the national pride, and they're the best in their country, and they're doing it for the love of the sport, really.
And now the viewers at home will get to see the final unfold.
Yeah, actually, Nick Damon's going to be part of the UK team that's going to Spain to contest the 12-hour finals. So Motors TV is actually going to be there filming the whole thing, and it's going to be shown later this year in a 1-hour special that's going to be really exciting to watch and just capture the flavor. So tune in and watch it. Just like to say, if you haven't already signed up for your country's local Baja Endurance Challenge series, or you want to find out any more details about it, just check out the HPI Europe website and you'll get all the details there.
And now, the big one. It's time for the A final from the Neo 08. And once again, with your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
The Honglaw buggy of Taylor James is on pole position, courtesy of his win in one of the semi-finals. The other semi-final was won by Adam Drake, but in a slightly slower time, so he's on position 2. Grid 3 is Darren Bloomfield, and Grid 4, Mike True from the United States of America. From Grid 5, it's Jörn Neumann, the German driver, and on 6, Daniel Vega from Spain. 7 is the Team Losey buggy of Yannick Alguin, and 8 is Lee Martin on the Associated. The bright yellow of number 9 is Richard Saxton on another Associated. 10 is Miguel Matias from Portugal on the Kyosho. 11 is Greg Degani, and 12 is Riccardo Rabitti from Italy. His countryman David Tortorici is in 13, and 14th is Chad Bradley from the USA. Stand by for action then on the final for the buggies. They're on the grid. Oh, a little bit of a jump there from grid 6. That was Daniel Vega, who had a little bit of a go, but he got the car stopped, and already we're off and running. And it's Taylor James who leads out. Oh, there's a slight mistake there from Adam Drake in second, and he's gone backwards. Still in third though, but no, now in second as Drake retakes second position. So it's as you were, James, Drake, Bloomfield, 1, 2 and 3. As we come round to complete this hectic first lap, the leader up on 2 wheels for a moment there, but got out of the throttle and got all 4 back on the dirt. Just this little tricky end section now as we come round to complete lap number 1, this longish race, and we will need a pit stop across the whoops and the tabletop. I do like this part of the circuit, very technical. And it's still Taylor James, Hong No. 8 different types of buggy in this race. Plenty of variety. Second place now beginning to gain just a little bit. That's Adam Drake as they come to the tabletop. Just beginning to close in, and the lead is gone! The lead is gone again! Wow, we've seen this happen in the semi-finals. Taylor James got out of sync with the track, and through goes Adam Drake, and through into a monster lead, especially for this early on in the race. Looked like Bloomfield was held up just a little bit when the erstwhile leader, Taylor James, went off. So Bloomfield it is now, left with the task of chasing down Adam Drake. Oh dear me. All getting a bit unnecessary in the battle for the minor places. Remember, this is it. This is the final. There's no more racing after this. So it's all or nothing now. And there is Bloomfield on the Lozi 8, second position. See if we can pick up our leader on the infield. There he is, the distinctive yellow wheels of the Lozi 8 of Adam Drake, heading off into the hairpin. And Bloomfield is catching him, just gently, reeling him in. You can see the dirt has dried out over the course of this 4-day meeting, and it's starting to break up a little bit. The organisers wet it down each evening, but we're into the last race now, and it's showing the signs of 4 days of intensive competition here at Telford. This is the battle for the lead we're watching. Very early stages of this final for the Buggies in the Neo Invitational for 2008. 100 or so competitors have been whittled down to the last 14, and these at the moment are the best 2 of them. Drake leading Bloomfield. USA versus United Kingdom. And just fascinating to me to watch how some of the drivers and buggies are better over some parts of the circuit than others. Here's the leader, clicks off another lap. Oh, lovely speedy drift there through that right-hander, but he seemed to scrub off a little bit too much speed, and yes, second place driver is catching up. Just got to let these cars run through the corners so that you're not trying to get them in so tight, as Bloomfield just got it again slightly off kilter, but look, he's still closing in. He's pushing hard now, really hard, almost within striking distance of the leader. Battle for 1 and 2. Back to complete another lap. Here they come through the timing. Boehner has just a little dive down the inside by Bloomfield, and surely it won't be long before he'll have a proper look. And the leader beginning to feel some pressure there. No sign of any back markers to get in the way as yet. Over the whoops, and they're both flying the double part at the start of it. Now into this technical section, all about grip. You can see the polished surface that's been run over countless thousands of times. Little mistake by the leader, missed the apex just ever so slightly there. Imagine the concentration levels of the guys on the podium here driving these buggies. Really is about concentration and rhythm and getting yourself into the circuit. They've had lots of laps, of course, over the course of this meeting. Practice, qualifying, and for the final 14, of course, also a semi-final before we've come to this final dash for the title. And this is the battle for the lead, and it's enthralling. Just get the feeling that the second place buggy is beginning to push that little bit harder on the leader. Oh, and too hard as Bloomfield goes off and onto the bumpers that delineate the edge of the track, and I think he's lost second. He has. Through has come Taylor James into second position. Fair play though, because Bloomfield hasn't given it up. He's having a look down the inside, and oh dear me, that's Taylor James rolling it. Took too much speed into the fast right-hander at the end of the start-finish straight. The left-hand wheels just can't keep the buggy on the ground. I'm afraid physics was taking over there. So as you were as far as first and second's concerned, but the gap between them now much increased. Leader still controlling it though. Let's have a look at some battles down the field. That's Greg Degani and Jörn Neumann going up the inside and taking the position. Ooh, Greg Degani will not like that. Was he half asleep there? Left the door wide open. And Neumann on the, well, he's calling it a Serpent, a prototype car that he's developing. I think it has some, shares some DNA with another car. Oh, now that looks like a retirement there. That's Darren Bloomfield's car. Oh, dear me. Now there's Dave Spatchett, the current 112 world champion, and that's game over, I'm afraid. Bloomfield out. One of the top runners is gone. So back with the leader, Adam Drake, on the team Lozi 8. GRP engine powering him around this complex circuit. Nice bit of marshalling there. Let's have no messing about. Well in the thick of back markers, and he comes in for the pit stop. quick refuel, engine still running, and off he goes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to do a pit stop without losing any time whatsoever. And I actually think he may have got back out in the lead there. So moving into the last quarter of the race with a pit stop still to go, remember, so this far from all over. Watching now the battle for second place. It's Taylor James from Mike True. Two Americans battling it out for second and third position. Must be having difficulty seeing the buggies on the far side of the track now. The brightness of the afternoon giving way to early evening light, and by no means as much coming in through the open doors. Even our cameras struggling now, and they are making the best of the light, I can tell you that. Across the start line again, and this battle has just been raging on. How these guys pace themselves through the better part of an hour's worth of racing, I really don't know. The concentration levels have to be kept up all the time. We've seen, haven't we, even in the shorter races, that as soon as you make a slight mistake, you're penalised. Good heavens above. Mike True goes by Taylor James just as we were talking about trying to keep yourself motivated, the concentration levels up. A tiny mistake, and look, he's all over the place at the moment. There's Mike True coming off to complete another lap. No, he's dived off into the pit lane, so that will be his final stop. So this is a chance for Taylor James to get that position back, but he's going to have a cracking lap here. Oh, and he's not done it. He knew he had to push hard to try and make back that time, with his major contender for second place making his last pit stop at the moment. Here comes the pole man. Now, will he stay out front of the lap, or will he go round again? It's about that time. He can fuel to the end from here. These buggies run anything between 10 and 13 minutes, just depending on how good you are on the sticks. And he does comes in on the very next lap, so this has got to be absolutely clean to have any chance of getting out. And oh, it's superb. Oh, and he's just ruined it as he goes out. It was a fantastic pit stop for the fuel, but he clips the edge of the ramp on the way out, and that's cost him second place. Through has gone Mike True into second place. Well, look, the in and the refuel was perfect, but just catches the left rear wheel on the post on the exit of the ramp, and that is very costly indeed. Oh dear, he's not going to be happy with that at all, is he? Well, there's Adam Drake, still concentrating, still working hard as the Team Losi 8 buggy is on the far side of the track now. The GRP engine still running on that Trinity fuel. This looks like another win for the United States. Just half a lap to go now. Time has expired. It's getting very dark and even a little bit cold. Won his semi-final, started from grid 2, and when others around him were losing places, he kept his head, kept his pace, kept his consistency, and he is going to come round to win it. So the podium is completely populated by the United States of America. Taylor James in third position. Could have been a little better for him, but for that bungled pit stop at the end of the race. Mike True in second, making it a 1-2 for Team Losi. Adam Drake taking the spoils.
With Mike True and Adam Drake. Adam, once again, the winner of the Neo.
Yeah, cars worked great. One big advantage was with the GRP engines and nitrogen fuel. We were able to go a long ways on pit stops and just kind of pace ourselves and just run a smooth, clean race.
Both are very fast, but noticeable you're running 12 minutes. Mike, you're running 10 minutes per stop, so you actually have a pit stop in hand. I mean, obviously, I was thinking, oh, you've got different engines, but you've got the same fuel, same engine, same car. Why the different strategies?
Kind of just played it safe, just in case something happened, or, he got a little bit better mileage than me, but I was still capable of 12, but just wanted to play safe, and it worked out. We, finished 1-2. Couldn't ask for more.
Is there much you can do with your driving style to conserve fuel?
I mean, there is, but Mike and I run pretty much the exact same clutch setup, pipe, everything. We had very, very close to the same fuel mileage, but there's really no point in both of us pushing it. I mean, as the big deal is winning as a group effort, as a team for Losi and GRP, and you know, he just played it a little more conservative in case something happened. So.
Alan's been here before, he's won here before, but did you enjoy your trip to the UK?
Yeah, it was awesome. I've been here one other time for the Nova Rossi GP, but Neo Buggy is an awesome event.
Well, hope we come back next time, but we'll try and make it a bit warmer next time.
Let's hope.
And best of luck for the Worlds this year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Well, that's all for this month's episode of RC Racing. And in fact, that's all for Series 2. Or it would have been if we hadn't been so prolific. We've actually got bits left over. Not only are we going to have a couple of best of episodes coming up, but they're going to have some new things in them as well. So next month, a kind of a best of new bit episode. Well, you'll enjoy it anyway, here on RC Racing.
Full panic, just trying to get across the finish line at the very end.